morning and welcome. You're tuned to I&I Radio, WEXI 102.3 FM, Miami-Dade, Broward. It's the Wednesday in July. Today we're commemorating the liberty, the birthright of His Majesty, Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. There's Rastafari celebration going on all over the world. There are Sankofa activities at the African American Research Library and Cultural Center. Tony Chin joins us at 9:30. We'll chat with him all the way in California. He calls us on the phone line around 9:30. We'll be talking to Tony Chin. Tony Chin as the producer. But ladies and gentlemen, on the phone line this morning from Kingston, Jamaica, we want to give a warm greeting and good morning to Gillie Priest, Michael Gillie Priest. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, good morning. Divine love and blessing to each and everyone and to yourself and all the brethren in the studio, brethren and sisters in the studio. Blessed morning to everyone.
And Gillie Priest, as we celebrate His Imperial Majesty's birth strong today, the celebrations are pouring out all over the world, and we're getting reports that even in London, England, the celebrations are in full effect. Jamaica, Australia, Africa, the reports keep coming in. So, Gillie Priest, Michael Gillie Priest, he's the author of the best-selling book, Forged by Time. He's the CEO of the Forged by Time Limited Company, and he's the host of the big, very important Deportee conference coming up Sunday, August 17th at 10-12 Salmon Boulevard Center, 10-12 North Parade, coming up on August 17th. We have Gillie Priest on the phone with us. Once again, Gillie Priest, good morning to you. Kind of bring us update so far what's going on as we get closer to August 17th.
Well, as you know, we meet on Tuesday at our office in downtown Kingston, 131 Tower Street. And yesterday, we basically now we start to set the program. Everything is falling in place. So we reach a stage now where the program is being set. We are assigning speakers to time slot. And good thing again, yesterday we encountered an organization that's based in the United States, an organization by the name of 255, who have dedicated to giving us some assistance towards it, to setting up firm. But the program is where we reach now, assigning the chairperson for the conference, assigning the speakers, assigning individuals who will be giving testimony in terms of the negative consequences of returning, as well as positive development in their lives upon returning to Jamaica. So things are settling, at the point where we want it to be, and we are now sprinting to the finish. It's now a sprint. We have like 20-something days left. It's a sprint to the conference date of August 17. I'm just kind of fine-tuning everything, making sure that all the equipments will be in place, all the essential people will be in place. And then once that day comes, hopefully whatever glitches we may encounter will be at a minimum where we'll be able to redress it on the spot at that moment. So we are pleased with where we are at. And from now, like we say, it's a sprint to the end. From now until August 17 is just to keep pushing the information out, hoping that the information is being passed, and so we can get a good turnout, a good support, which will give us a momentum to go into after the conference. So yes, we are getting there. Just putting the programs together now.
So Gillie, tell us, one of the things that folks have been asking me out there in the community is, you are hoping to have testimonies. Have you decided on a number of testimonies, because you're only running from 9 to 4, right? So your time is very restricted. I can just imagine what type of schedule you're setting up. It's tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tight. But you see, this is always basically, we're not going for more than 2 testimonies. One that's suffering adversely upon their return, and another individual who's basically made something of his life upon his return, where he can share that successful information with the virgins that are present. So it's just in terms of testimonials from the virgins and sisters who get deported, we are looking for the just basically two. If there's a compelling third story, then we will fit it in. But in terms of testimonials being given, it will only be about two individuals. We have two main speakers. We are still waiting on some answers from some other government agencies. But in terms of how we are setting the schedule, setting out the time period, we are making it flexible enough and making it broad enough so that we have time not only to present a platform, but to also give the virgins and sisters who come a chance and enough time to network amongst themselves, climatize amongst themselves, socialize among. So we are making it flexible enough. We are not trying to use up every single second of the conference with presentation from a podium. We are not trying to do that. So we are going to do our best to manage the time equitably enough where everyone leave fulfilled, everyone leave fully informed. I keep using the term operational information, because we are not trying to put on a conference where we just have presenters going up there and just giving information that is not usable, that's giving information that is not practical. We are trying to eliminate all of that. So even the speakers who will be speaking, we are trying to put barriers to a certain degree around their presentation so it doesn't go off into highfalutin terms, bombastic terms, making promises that cannot be fulfilled, nothing like that. So we are putting guardrails on it, making it relevant information, but still making it flexible enough where people can fully express themselves within the context and the purpose of the conference.
That's the point I was trying to get across, Gillie.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
So now, one of the most exciting things, or one of the most exciting things that has happened to Forged by Time Limited in the last few weeks is that you have some office space that is donated to you, that you can now actually do some bookwork, so to speak, paperwork in an office space, and invite people to come in and tell you what their needs and what their wants are, and now you have an office space that can help these folks. Tell us about that, Gillie, please.
Yeah, well, we were given an office here. We met a sister, right, by the name of Carla Golata. And she's a member of the Jamaican Council of Human Rights. She's also a member of other prominent civic organizations in Jamaica. And she's also the honorary consulate general for Italy in Jamaica. I believe she's an Italian-born citizen, but she's also a naturalized citizen, I believe, in Jamaica. So I was introduced to her, and after laying out our case, laying out our needs, she was more than willing to give us a one-day space in our office, which is located at 131 Tower Street, almost at the corner of Tower Street and Duke Street in downtown Kingston, but a little bit closer to Mark Lane. So she has given us permission to operate out of her space, and it's situated on the third floor of the building, the most upper floor, 1 day a week, which is on Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, Forged by Time Limited can be contacted. We can liaison with people at 131 Tower Street. And on Tuesdays, we are there to consult with. We are there to disseminate information. We are there to provide whatever we can provide, referrals, so on and so forth. But the good thing is that we have a space, because before that, sometimes when our executive team tried to meet to develop this program, we had to meet in the park in downtown Kingston, or we may meet at one of the executive members' house, and sometimes the executive members' house and where they live is kind of out of the way in terms of transportation. Where some of us have to get there, we have to take 2-3 taxis to get to one location. So by we having one central place in the heart of Kingston, where basically every transportation terminal is located close by, it usually only costs one taxi fare to get there. So that is what it is, very accommodating. The staff down there in terms of the Council of Human Rights is very accommodating to our needs, make us feel at home. And again, just by we having somewhere to meet, it stabilizes us. It creates an aura around us, a functionality where we are able to bring our equipment to the space, computers that some of the brethren have, and we're able to set up. We are given access to the Wi-Fi in the building. We are given access to light. We are given access to full run of Carla Agata space. And for that we are grateful, and for that we are thankful. But most of all, we have a space where we can sit and meet not only with our executive team of Forged by Time Limited, but also with outside people, members who can come. Yesterday we had a meeting there with a virgin who come down from the United States, and he's seeking a working relationship, possibly with our organization, Forged by Time. We were able to sit there for like 2-3 hours and kind of detail out what each other would expect of each other in terms of Forged by Time vis-a-vis the other organization. Very accommodating, because the way how that meeting was conducted yesterday, it would not have been accommodated had we been conducting that meeting in the park in downtown Kingston, or at someone else's house where you have people coming and going. So God bless Carla Agatan for her mercy in granting us that space, and we're looking forward to take the most full advantage of it until we can find a space of our own. Yes, brethren.
Yes, we give thanks for that office space.
Yeah, man.
That really means a lot, and it goes a long way for the brothers and sisters who come in for their concerns as they relate them to you. Gillie, as you know, we're going to make this one a short and sweet one.
Yeah, man.
We just wanted an update. We wanted an update. INI Radio, WEXI, we are behind you. We're supporting you. Just know that you're loved and you're appreciated. In the handful of minutes that we have before we go to break, just going to cut this one short, Gillie, and we will resume on next Thursday. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we'll get you on again, and on next Thursday. We're going to keep this going at least up until that week of the conference. So if you could kindly just go ahead and give out all the contact information for us, and we'll talk to you again on tomorrow. So go ahead, please, and give us that contact.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. For right time, may be contacted at 876-880-0827. Again, 876-880-0827. You may also contact us by email at forgedbytimelimited@gmail.com. forgedbytimelimited@gmail.com. And walk in on Tuesdays. For those in Jamaica who have the opportunity, you can come in and see us at Tuesday by appointment at 131 Tower Street in downtown Kingston, Jamaica. And thank you again very much, Mr. Barnes. Thank you to you, your listeners, your studio engineers, and everyone for this blessed opportunity.
We thank you, Gillie Priest, and we're going to give you a shout out tomorrow. It'll be short and sweet, but the message continues. And take care, my friend. All the best to you, and we'll talk to you at another time.
Blessed love. Greetings, family, when they are.
Yes, yeah.
You can hear me loud and clear?
Tony. Yes, got you, Bridget.
Yeah, man, me there listen to the program and I find it very interesting. This is Ras Michael coming live and clear. And greetings to everyone, listeners and supporters, engineer and everyone,
Yeah, got you, Michael. We are here.
Alright, so basically, me I listen to the ice spill and me find it very interesting. It is very informative and everything. Right? In terms of the angle that we would add to it is this, and it's one of the focus where we have to basically keep in mind. Jamaica is really governing under a capitalist system. And we have to recognize that a capitalist system is governed by a certain principle. And like every economic order that exists in every country of the face of the earth, it carries a certain downsides to it. So therefore, if you're talking about a society that is governed by the capitalist doctrine, right, basically come out of people doctrine like John Locke and them man there from out of the 1800s. If you go abide by a certain capitalist doctrine, you have to recognize that it will not cater to certain equity, certain justice where you look for cannot come out of capitalism. And as long as we're adhering to a capitalist system, the ills of society going to give a direct reflection of that economic order. Right? It's like when them say, a hungry man will always be an angry man. So when we're looking at the society in Jamaica, you say, okay, we need a more equity, especially an equity for the lower class. We basically ask what is impossible, you know, because when you study the economic system and the principle of capitalism, it is based upon a funnel system. When I say the funnel system, when I talk about basically is our pyramid shape. Society will only produce X amount of skills, X amount of people, X amount of earning in order to create the funnel system. So if you look for a square system, which is meaning basically if you ask equity to come out of a capitalist system, we are asking for the impossibility. Because when you listen to the doctrine, because this is what we have to look upon, you know. The system is governed by a philosophy. It is not governed by empathy. It is not governed by sympathy. It is not governed by equity. No system not governed based on them thing there. So once we say the government create a policy and it creates an economic policy, it will have its upside and its downside. Now, based on we coming out of a slavery system, then we went into colonialism, then we went into neo-colonialism, and now the world under which we govern is imperialism. So, inequity is a fundamental aspect of imperialism. So to ask a man who is wicked and vicious to show mercy is a contradiction within one understanding, because the system cannot be capitalism and have equity. If you notice, one of the things we come out of history and our culture and our virgin, we could just, in a relative terms, let's look at Africa as an example. If you look at Africa and you look at Asia, these are countries where the indigenous people was never removed from them land. Those who remain there never removed from them land, right? So what you find happening in them countries, when them countries they start fight for liberation, what was unique to all of them countries upon the African continent and in Asia and Southeast Asia, the cry of liberation was the liberation of the land, you know. I mean, I try to point out something fundamental. It was about the liberation of the land, because them people have never left them land. Now, make we come in at the Caribbean. Go in any country in the Caribbean and look what was the cry for liberation. It was not for the land. It was for wages. That is why the liberation of every country came out of the trade union. The liberation of Trinidad came out of trade union. The liberation of Barbados came out of trade union. Because the people did not see themselves as having a close affinity to the land, because they see themselves as a people who were transported. But you go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, you go to Zimbabwe, you go to Namibia, you go to Botswana. What was the cry for liberation of these? We want back with land. We want back with land. So when you go into them countries today, the struggle still surround that, the economic system still surround that. So it is not a surprise to us in the Caribbean, where when you listen to our cry, it is always tied to wages. And we were groomed and trained to try for wages. And that's why every single political party that ever come up out of the Caribbean came out of trade union. Yes, my brother.
Matthews. When we came out, and I believe Heru who did the breakdown last week and was showing that the land doesn't belong to the people. It belongs to the monarchy, which them call it the crown land.
Yeah.
And we were crying out, screaming out, even when I time them, asking for a change in the constitution when them have them constitution reform to label the land as the people's land. And that is why we stand on black nationalism.
Yeah.
So you brought up capitalism, you have explained that really and truly, which we know, that you can't have empathy and sympathy when you're dealing with a capitalist regime or capitalist policies.
Right.
So should the people swear to socialism then?
All right.
What is the alternative? Because our stance is black nationalism straight, you know.
All right.
Resources is for the people of our race, you know. So where should the people turn?
All right. One of the thing with black nationalism is that black nationalism is a philosophy, is a political philosophy from my perspective. It is not an economic philosophy. Because let me show you something. Every nation upon this earth here is governed by nationalism. Whether it's Japanese nationalism, Chinese nationalism, European nationalism, white nationalism, that has basically for those transported white people who consider themselves white. So I say that for when you deal with these societies who are sophisticated enough within their own conscious development, even though them practicing nationalism, them don't attach them ethnicity to it, but there's a common understanding that their ethnicity is paramount, that their ethnicity is the zenith of them system. So okay, so if we live in our society and we go and say black nationalism, it means that the commanding height of the political order, the polity of the nation, is going to be governed and controlled by black people. Okay. But that doesn't, for me, that doesn't spell out an economic order. And I'll give you an example. You have to remember, when we speak of black nationalism, a black nationalism is a thing where it's really fundamental for those of us who were transported in the Western world, And you know what I mean by this? If you go to a black country where everybody black, you will never hear the term black. Because it is understood that the black is a relative term for those other races that exist within a country. So if you go in a country where it's all black people, it would be redundant to say black nationalism. Unless you're speaking in relative terms to the outside nation. So for me, when we're going to speak of black nationalism, which is a position where me adhere to, it is a position that I believe in. I still have an understanding that by saying black nationalism, I'm just speaking of the polity. I'm just speaking from a perspective of how the society would be ordered, how the society would be constructed politically. But it does not tell me in a derivative terms what it means economically. Because if we have a nation, yeah, go ahead, my brethren.
Alright, so alright, I'm going to answer a question. I want you to answer the question, and then we're going to show you the economic side. And we're going to show you the economic side with black nationalism.
Yes, sir.
We are coming for.
Yeah, man.
Alright. If it's not capitalism, can you don't explain the policy and the regime that capitalist state come with, then what are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that the people sway to a socialist regime?
All right, this is what I always say when I'm asked that question. Is that we have to face a reality of the economic order within the country and try to gradually move towards creating and evolving an economic order that will be unique to our historical experience. Go remember, when you go back in the root of this country, and you go forward to the founding from 1938 at the PMP party, them did establish for them order upon democratic socialism. Now, what is this democratic socialism? The democratic socialism is that the state was going to work in order with the private sector, but the state should command the commanding heights of the economic order, meaning that the main industries in this country that will propel the nation forward should be controlled by the government, and the other smaller industries should be controlled by the private sector. So they are trying to find, like what made a reason with the Virgin them on another occasion, the synthesis, the thesis, and all that. So the point what me I try to say is, instead of we become wedged to a particular economic order that is already in existence, we need to evolve, we need to engage. Me personally, this is what me always say, we need to engage the economists them in the institution in the country who has a certain level of black consciousness to integrate our experience and evolve an economic order that can be beneficial to the race and the nation of the country. So me personally, now go choose capitalism, now socialism, now fascism, now oligarchism, or none of them things. Me personally, yes sir.
The evolution you call for with all those policies, we describe or we coined it as democratic nationalism. Everyone will show you the economic side
okay.
to democratic nationalism and what it really means.
Beautiful.
Blessed love.
Blessed love, my brother. Blessed every time.
Okay.
democratic nationalism or black nationalism. Mr. Garvin himself had coined the phrase earlier as nationalism for the UNIA, the black government. What we are saying, when you break it down to the foundation of economic systems, we in Africa had started from the bartering system where a man have 2 mango and you swap with a man with 2 potato. Then we developed a currency which could have been gold, could have been beads, could have been whatever. And we use that as a standard trading tool. So for this one bead or this one piece of gold, you could have get 2 yam, 4 pieces of banana and 4 grain. That was the practice. And if you remember when King Mansa Musa traveled around the world, he would always travel with gold, and he used that gold to empower some people by just giving it away. So we had understood trading from the perspective of having goods and services paid for with a commodity, with a substance. Coming forward now that we are in this system that the Europeans left with us, the capitalist system, we have to now transition from capitalism to black nationalism, wherein we look at the focus to empower black people first, as Mr. Garvin said, race first. When you look at the capitalist system, what it has done, and put white people first, you have to realize that the Jews put the Jews first. The Chinese put the Chinese first. But they don't spell it out in so many words as we are giving out. It's black nationalism. See, Trump tell you, the MAGA system, make America great again. It could have easily well said, make America white again. Because that is what he's doing. He's expelling anyone that is not white out America and finding some way to expel you. Even under the system that you, by birthright under the United Nations 30 human rights, so you have a right of residence in the place where you're born. So Trump just overturn it. If you're born in America, you're not American. If your parents born in America, you are not American. So you have to understand that what they do it with the ethnicity coming first and foremost.
Even the economic side.
Alright. So economics basically mean that how are you going to propel yourself and control your trading? The foundation of all wealth comes from the land. And this is why we are saying the land will be nationalized, and the land will be, the crown land that they say will become the people's land. All wealth come from the land. Whether you buy, build house on it, grow crops on it, whatever you're going to do, that is the foundation of all wealth. You're going to mine the ores that come out of the ground, that is the wealth of the country.
Oxide, everything.
Everything. And what that must do, that must ensure a livable quality of life of every individual in the country. What they did in 1834 didn't empower black people, it only empowered white people. In 1834, when they say emancipation, they gave the white farm owners £20 million to share up. That created enough intergenerational wealth for white people that the great NCB bank that you see here as the largest bank in Jamaica came out of that money. The £20 million that was shared up at emancipation. Intergenerational wealth. But black people got intergenerational poverty because they didn't get any land and they didn't get any money. And this is what is manifesting today, that black people in Jamaica suffer. You have 2 million black people, which is homeless.
Yes, sir.
Out of the 3 million where the census tell you. When you check it, 2 million is homeless people. None of them have a title. None. 2 million homeless people. So we have to change that process by when the constitution is changed. We will now create a land shift between all of the land that is now known as crown land, which is almost 70% of the land in the country. That must go to the people. It's the people's land. Should have been done from 1834, but let us correct the ill now. So out of that sharing of the land, wealth will come. Who are parent, you must stop parent. Who know on the land, you can start plant and grow some on the land.
And another thing to add to that, is that the majority, what they call democracy is far, because the majority, the people, what they're expressing as what they need to be done, as heralded in the philosophies and opinion of Marcus Garvey, the will of the people, they have totally been ignored by those in authorities. I don't know which will them are bring to the House of Representatives. I don't know who is demanding all those policies and laws and everything that them pass, all the bills that them pass in Parliament. Where did it come from? Which constituency, which people, which community? So it has been years of neglect of black people in this country, years upon years. And what we're calling for is that the majority should have the final say, and the resources and the land should be given back to the people, and that can only be happened, and can only be done, as mentioned before, with a change of the constitution and through democratic nationalism. Go through where you're bring me back. Yeah, go through where you're virgin.
Oh, that me?
Yeah, go through.
All right, yeah. I listen to all the brethren broke it down, and in terms of the black nationalism part, like I said earlier, I can agree with it that you can add that mean shape and structure society around that. And like I said earlier, every nation on the face of the earth do it. Those who are functioning more sophisticatedly and more upon a higher conscious level, them don't have to really preface them argument with the identification of them race and them ethnicity. So I totally agree with another aspect there, whereas Erusi, the part where it's elusive to me. You see, a lot of time when we hear certain terms, we hear certain terms very, very broad and elusive, right? And we grew up in a society where you're coming out from the 60s. We hear them broad and elusive terms here. But these are terms we're going to have to contextualize and give meaning to them. Like when you say, all right, the land should be controlled by the people. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what that means, you know. We can look on it in a simplistic term and say, okay, everybody get a piece of land. But society going still have to codify that. And somebody in a society going still have to regulate that. And me go assume say a government to do that. So once government come in and start involve the human factor day night, then it becomes a little bit more complicated. Now, me as a man when I always believe this. We as a people we basically get thrown in a captive for more than 400 years. And by the fact that foreigners was able to come in our country and come on our continent and brought us into captive, it shows that there was a shortfall in our governing philosophy from that time. So me as an individual where everything... Yeah, go ahead. Eh?
No, which government you are talking about? Which government? Which fall short? You are talking about 1960?
No, me say we fell short philosophically. Remember, every society need a philosophy to govern them. And anytime your philosophy fail you, that is when you go into subjugation. That is when you get conquered, because it means that your philosophy wasn't broad enough, wide enough, deep enough to anticipate aggression. So we then in Africa, you can go back as far as we want to go, and we was living a certain lifestyle, and we was living within a certain equanimity and a certain sense of justice, but still we were conquered. Still we were brought into slavery. We still go under slavery. So me said that to say this, we need a whole revision, because Marcus Garvey tell we, you know, we're not only going ape after the past, but we must envision ourselves creating something that has never been created before. So that's one of the reasons why me not adhere to socialism, me not adhere to capitalism, me not adhere to oligarchism. What I am open to is to fashion something new that this world has never seen economically. And that fashioning must come out of our experience. Now we can appendage that to some of the past. We can use the past as a guidance. We can use the past to light our footprint going forward. But me still adhere to the principle that a human experience is what must fashion us going forward. And we can use the past as a light. But I personally don't believe the past can be regurgitated. I don't believe that. It can happen, and that is not to take away from the legitimacy of those who may believe that. I am just saying I don't believe the past can be regurgitated as it was pre-conquer days. So, me as an individual that believe our experience for the last 500 years can fashion a future going forward, can fashion an economic order. Yes, the ordering of society can be around black consciousness. It can be about black nationalism. But for me, that doesn't spell out an economic order. Even though, and that may be a lack of understanding for my part. Me can totally agree with that. That may be a lack of understanding for my part. But until I can better understand it, then that will be the only time I can say, okay, then I see it, I understand it, and it is a philosophy and a principle that I can adhere to. But in a nutshell, black nationalism for me is only spelling out a philosophical and a political ideology or society should be ordered. But for me, I don't believe it goes to the core, the principle of an economic order. And like me say, I can readily admit it, that may be a shortfall on my part. And I'm open to learning, I'm open to changes, I'm open to see the light there. But at this moment, I really don't see it. Yeah, man, I hear you.
Yeah, man. All right, we give thanks. Remember, at the time, I do it for the time.
Yeah, man, bless. Yeah, man, blessing my virgin. Thanks for the opportunity. You hear, sir?
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Every time.
Virgin said.